Hi, I'm Chris McDonald and I'm really interested in industrial strategy. Around the world, the COVID-19 pandemic is causing governments and citizens to think differently about our economies. No more so than in Britain, where a combination of coronavirus, climate change and our departure from the European Union has revealed fragile manufacturing supply chains and inequality between towns and regions resulting from factory closures often decades ago. This causes us to think about sovereign capability. What is it and how do we assure it for the future? It's been a settled position in the UK for more than a generation that it's up to industry to take decisions to reduce costs and working capital requirements by optimising international supply chains. Meanwhile, apart from a few exceptions, government has largely not intervened. The flip side of this policy is an increase in supply chain complexity and an increase in the risk from trade disruption. This is something I first highlighted in a paper in 2016, where I noted that copper is essential for all infrastructure projects, but these are vulnerable in the UK due to trade disruption, as the UK has offshored almost all of our copper melting capability. Whilst all governments rightly see the protection of their citizens as their first priority, many have been content to limit this from an industrial perspective to businesses directly involved in the defence industry. What I've long advocated is a wider definition of industrial strategy and sovereign capability, which includes other aspects of our economy that are essential for normal life. To some extent, we've seen this shift during the pandemic, as the definition of the most valuable workers in our society has moved from those making the biggest GDP contribution to those providing the most essential services, often the lowest paid. The UK is now moving to a new position on industrial strategy that affirms sovereign capability and sees this as important in the policy armoury that we have to improve the quality of life for people throughout the country. This change has already started to happen. The most clear example being the difference in the UK government's response to two crises in the steel industry. In the first, in 2015, the SSI Steelworks in Redcar, just next door to where I'm standing now, went into liquidation, and the official receiver at the time was given only 10 days to find a new buyer, and unsurprisingly he was unsuccessful. However, when British Steel entered into liquidation 4 years later in 2019, the government stood by the official receiver and ran the business for many months until a new buyer could be found. My definition of sovereign capability includes our basic industries as well as access to markets. This means sectors such as energy, steel, materials, telecommunications and trade infrastructure sit alongside defence as integral to our way of life. Having decided what is important, the next stage is to develop these industries and the places in which they reside. I'm going to look at some of these aspects in more detail in future blogs, and if you'd like to hear more about it, then do get along to my YouTube channel and click on subscribe so that you don't miss any future updates. Bye for now.